Hey, this is MORTIIS, and you're listening to Heavy Demons.
So what shall the Italian fans expect from your show at Officine Sonore on May 25th?
You had to ask that kind of question. You put me up against the wall. I'm bringing a lot of the sort of like the old symbols on stage and everything, and there's just the mask stuff and then all that sort of stuff that I guess people sort of hope for or expect. A lot of really cool artwork, made by David. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. They're the French artist that I've been working with a lot lately, David Thiroux or something like that. And of course, there's the sort of reinterpreted Ondens Opera, my 1994 album. I think you were at the Coleman Industry Festival, right? Yeah, I met you there.
Yeah, in Stockholm. Yeah.
So yeah. So you've heard some of that music. So still doing that show. We'll be doing that for the remainder of 2018, I think. So yeah, it should be cool, man. I mean, so far nobody's complained, So I think it's gonna be cool. I think the Italians, Italian fans are gonna like it.
Exactly 1 year ago we were talking about the first show in Stockholm, and now you are collecting a huge amount of gigs and re-releases of the old stuff. Has your musical life been changing thanks to this new interest into MORTIIS Era 1? Did you expect this new interest?
I don't know. I mean, many years ago, I just stopped expecting. I mean, you can have your hopes, but having expectations, I mean, usually just leads to disappointment. That's my life. I mean, has it changed? I don't know. I don't think too much about it. I mean, I just do the stuff that I want to do, whatever feels right. I just kind of like go with it. And honestly, I'm just I'm glad that there's a healthy amount of interest. I'm really fucking happy to see that a lot of people that were into MORTIIS back in the 90s, back in the sort of original Era 1 days, they're still actually here. That makes me happy because it means that I did something that actually has value, that it's kind of survived for a couple of decades, and that makes me feel like, fuck, man, maybe I did something right. It's that it has this sort of longevity, this ability to survive for so long, that it's not just disposable bullshit. Yeah. So that's if anything, I mean, that's really what kind of really excites me right now, for sure.
What do you think about the re-release of the early MORTIIS stuff by Grave Cult Records?
Well, I mean, Grave Cult are doing the demo and the first, the second and third albums. I mean, the Fryktelharsk album is kind of stuck in a bit of a limbo because of Earache Records owns it in most of the world except for the United States. So. The thing with Grave Cult is, I met him when I did the Methodist Morts Festival in Montreal in November last year, and I think we just got talking. I can't quite remember the exact details, but I think we started talking like it would be cool to get some tape releases out in Canada, because I'd never done that, and that was kind of it, man. And Karine, who does like a lot of the artwork, or as a matter of fact, I think she does like all the artwork for Methodist Morts Festival, and she's also involved with Grave Cult and does all the artwork there, and she's like really creative. So we started like sort of experimenting with some different artwork based upon a lot of the old stuff, but also like slightly, there's just kind of like altering it a little bit, and then so these tapes are going to be cool. I mean, they're going to have like engraved shells and weird shit like that we haven't really done before. So, and the artwork, like I said, is going to be completely different. A lot of the same essence and a lot of the same elements that you're used to from the old albums, but in a different kind of way. So it's going to be interesting, man.
And also, The Secret of My Kingdom book is now available in a deluxe edition. What shall the fans find into it?
Oh yeah, I mean, we took all the original stuff, obviously, which is, I can't recall exactly how many pages that was, but maybe like 140, 150 pages originally back in 2001 when it was finally released. I mean, all this stuff is from the 90s. I mean, it's all written between 1992 and approximately 1998 or 1999, maybe. So we took all the original stuff, and then I kind of went, treasure hunting in my attic, and I just found, texts and some artwork and just various things that for some mysterious reason, I don't know why it was never used in the first place, but it's cool because we could put that in the new edition, because why just reissue something exactly the way that it was the first time when you have the opportunity to do something, just make it cooler than the first time around. I love that kind of opportunity, to put different artwork in there and all that kind of stuff. So that's exactly what we did, and we added several interviews. Especially there's a really long one with myself where I talk a lot about those days and kind of like trying to give people more like a view into the way that I was thinking and how my mind was working at the time, and then sort of like a window into the past. So that's, which I'm assuming our fans might find that interesting and fascinating. So I mean, all in all, with all the additional artwork and all the additional text and bonus materials, I mean, I think we added like 100 pages, and just in general, I think it just looks way better. It looks more like the way it should have looked the first time around, I guess. Yeah, very very fucking cool thing. It was Dale, from Cult Never Dies, he had me crawling around my own attic, looking for stuff, so we can make this as cool and interesting as possible. And I mean, I gotta admit, I mean, there were nights when I was like, "Fucking Dale, man, he makes me work so goddamn hard," and it was frustrating. But in the end, I mean, it was fucking great. I'm very happy with the results. So yeah, he knows what he's doing, man. He's a good guy, and yeah, very cool product.
Yeah, and the Perfectly Defect, originally released back in 2010, is now available through your label Omnipresent Records.
Well. It's the street date is June 1st, which means street date means that's when it's supposed to be in the stores.
Yeah.
So right now people can pre-order, and make sure they can get like some of these limited vinyls and everything. It was in 2010, and it was released for free as a free download, directly from the band for all the fans. And we the whole idea behind that was. That was our big sort of middle finger. That was our big fuck you to the record industry, because at the time I was so disillusioned and frustrated with the record industry, and to this date I still am. I still haven't really, shackled myself to a record label. I haven't had a proper record deal for over a decade now, because quite frankly they all fucking suck.
Yeah.
And they're all vampires. They just fucking they bleed you dry and they throw you out. I've been there and I've done that, and maybe one day I'll sign a record deal again. But I mean, I'm older and wiser, and it's gonna have to be a pretty fucking good one for me to want to even go into it. So I mean, back in 2010, the whole idea was like, okay, fuck you, record industry. The whole point was I would rather give my record away for free to all the fans, to whoever wanted it, than give it to a record label to release. Because they were just going to fuck me anyway. Yeah. So that was the whole point. And so we had that out there, available as a download for a few months. And then we just kind of took it off the shelf, sitting on my hard drives for the past 8 years. And I'm thinking it's a fucking great album. I fucking really like it. It's very sort of artistic. It's a strange record. Like half the songs are instrumental. It's just the least commercial record you can imagine, So in that sense, I'm thinking, fuck, man, it's such a great album, and it's never been properly released. It should be on vinyl. It should be in like a proper CD, professionally made, like a real album, So we're putting it out finally. I made a deal with Plastic Head Distribution from the UK a few months back, and we thought that a perfect first release would be Perfectly Defect in this relationship. I mean, they're my distributor, so we'll see how it goes, man. I'm excited, and we're putting out these really cool vinyl colors like Bubonic Plague, which is like a slimy green and black one, which is what what I'm kind of imagining the Black Plague skin would look like, and necrotic bone, which is like sort of whitey, black, rotten, necrotic, and stuff like that. So yeah, June 1st, man, that's when it's out.
We, the Mugshots, are proud to have you as a special guest on the Death SS tribute, which will be released in the next months by Black Widow Records. What can you tell us about your participation to this project?
Yeah, man, awesome. That was a joy. I had a good time doing that, man. I've been into. I was the first guy that I knew in Norway that actually listened to Death SS. It might have been me and like Samov from Emperor back in like 1991. We discovered, I think, something on a tape or something like that, and there might have been a photo, from I guess from the Heavy Demons album, with the prosthetics that they were using and everything.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, like, back in 1991, I mean, holy fuck, we were like, who the fuck are these guys? And Italy was still kind of like an obscure place for a kid in Norway back in like 1990, 91 or something. So yeah, I mean, I've been fascinated by that band ever since. So obviously, if somebody had told me when I was like 15 that you're going to be doing some vocal work, for a tribute record for this band, and 28 years later, God, we're getting old.
Yeah.
I would have gone like, what, are you fucking kidding? I don't know how to sing or anything like that, So yeah, that was pretty cool, man. I mean, I'm honored to be part of it, and fuck, man. I mean, I hope I like it. We kind of did it like we were getting a little bit experimental, I think, to some degree with the vocal work, but I think we stayed fairly true to the original anyway. The vibe and everything. So yeah, fuck, man. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
And what's now in the future of MORTIIS? Like a new era, or the re-recording and performing of another early album?
Yeah, man. I mean, I get this question now, and I still don't quite know the answer to it. I mean,
yeah.
In a perfect world, I would just say like both. That's what I would love to do. I mean, I had a good time, recreating the Onden album. So, and the response to the new version of it so far has been really good. So, I'm kind of fantasizing about doing it to another one, and I hope I can do it. I mean, that's all I can say. I really would like to do that. I'm enjoying it now, so there's no reason why I shouldn't do it. I mean, apart from just time restraints, really, But at the same time, I would love to get the fucking band back together and do something with that too. But I think everything in its own time, So I'm just kind of feeling my way. So right now, I have all these shows lined up, so that's taking a lot of focus at the moment. And we're also talking about maybe doing a bit additional work on the current sort of the reinterpretation that I did of the Onden album, and maybe trying to put that out as a new record. There seems to be an interest in actually getting this stuff on vinyl and CD and then out there digitally. So I'm kind of like I'm considering doing that as well. Maybe bringing some vocalists in, like a little bit like what I did back in the Stargate days, with Sarah Jezebel Diva. That type of collaboration, getting a couple more people involved in it. So there's a lot of places that this stuff could go. But like I said, I'm just kind of taking it one step at a time. But I have a lot of ideas, but I don't want to get too detailed about it, because knowing myself, I change my mind 3 times a week. So ask me in a couple of months, then I'll have a more clear response, I think.
And one final greeting and invitation to the Italian fans to join you on your Italian performance.
Yeah, I'm outside of Milan. I'm embarrassed to say that right now I don't have the name of the town in front of me, so I'm not going to attempt pronouncing it. What's it called?
It's Vercelli.
Yes, that's where we're playing. I mean, if I had tried to say that, it would have been a comedy show. So, on the 25th of May, And Era One has never been to Italy, so I'm really kind of hoping that people are gonna feel inspired and and fascinated to go there and see it. Yeah, go and see that. And I usually hang out after the show too, so people can go there and tell me how much it sucked or how much I like it, whatever. So yeah, come down and fucking check it out.